美方群起发难围攻马凯硕，遭亚洲视角降维打击，一场教科书级的文明话语权对决。请看马凯硕教授是如何以少胜多来为中国发声，请看视频。
Thank you. Professor, you said a lot of wonderful things about China, and surely they're doing a lot of things right. But how do you reconcile the fact that to make it work for China, it seems to be based on a high level of repression, environmental destruction, censorship, a certain ideological stubbornness? I mean, we've spoken about Hong Kong, the Uyghurs. How do you reconcile that, and why do you think that's? I mean, do you think that's tolerable?
Thank you. I'm really glad you asked that question because your question captured very well the Anglo-Saxon media's perception of China. And I would suggest to you very bluntly that it's a distorted perspective of reality. Let's take the first word you use, repression. If the Communist Party of China only relied on repression to stay in power, it would not create the most dynamic economy in the world, right? It is by far the most dynamic economy in the world. It has delivered the fastest growing economy for 30 years. And it has done this by educating the Chinese people to a level and extent that the Chinese people have never been educated ever before. And you say is repression. You obviously are taking the old Cold War mindset. I was in Moscow in 1976, and I saw repression in Moscow. And when I was in Moscow, the Soviet citizens were not allowed to travel outside the Soviet Union. That's repression. In the year 2019, 139 million Chinese left China freely. Guess what? Zero defectors. 139 million Chinese, right? That's twice the population of the UK. Went back to China. So all your description, when you say environmental degradation, China's climate change policies are far more responsible than those of the United States, which has not once, but twice withdrawn from global environmental protocols. Kyoto Protocol, the Bush administration left 8 years. Paris Accords, Trump administration left 4 years. And you know what? The reason why we're having climate change today is not because of new flows of greenhouse gas emissions from China and India. It's because of what the Western countries have put in the atmosphere since the Western Industrial Revolution. Get the data. The single largest contributor cumulatively, right, is number 1 United States, number 2 Europe, number 3 China, right? And the West wants China to pay an economic price for the current flows, but the West doesn't want to pay an economic price for what it put in the atmosphere. You want to deprive the Indians of electricity when the United States could just, by the way, if the United States could impose $1 a gallon tax, that would save the world. Cut down gasoline consumption, raise money for investment in green technology. Simple solutions. And by contrast, the largest reforestation program in the world is carried out by China. It has already reforested an area the size of Belgium or bigger, right? So all your descriptions capture the natural distortions of China that you get in the Anglo-Saxon media, which violate the rules of the Enlightenment, which say that you must be rational, calm, and objective, especially in understanding your adversary. And if the Chinese were as stupid and as incompetent as you describe them to be, don't worry about them. But I can assure you, you are now dealing with a far more intelligent and rational actor that doesn't fit any of the Anglo-Saxon categories that you applied to them. Please forgive my bluntness.
Now you're putting words into my mouth.
视频看完了，我们来分析一下教授从几个点来试图通过数据对比和历史视角来解构西方对中国的主流叙事。一、用出境数据反驳压制；二、强调西方历史碳排放；三、批评西方媒体偏见；四、选择性列举环保成就，本质是东西方话语权博弈。马凯硕教授的回应充满激情，展现了非西方视角的合理诉求，要求更公平的全球话语权分配和历史责任认定。这种视野让短期争议回归历史本质，对手的狭隘叙事瞬间显得苍白，凸显了马凯硕教授外交家的风度与学者的锋芒。尽管言辞犀利，他始终保持着彬彬有礼的学者风范。比如一开始的我很高兴你问了这个问题，先肯定提问，再彻底驳斥，避免人身攻击，到后来那句为了和平请原谅我的鲁莽，以谦逊的姿态收尾，却让反驳得更显深刻。这种优雅的姿势正是顶级智者的标志。马凯硕的论述揭示深刻的文明启示，中国的崛起不是偶然事件，而是人类文明重心东移的必然结果。喜欢我的请关注我的频道，下期见，再见。